Well, issue 76 of IDW Sonic came out, and it is the aftermath, the follow up to the anniversary issue, the start of a conclusion to the whole restoration arc, hostile takeover story arc that they did. And to me, it felt like, and this was in certain areas, it felt like it was a bit of like a semi finale, or at least basically there was storylines being wrapped up, a little too soon, for my liking, and I think for anybody else's liking. Mostly when it came to the whole Diamond Cutters, Silver, situation and such, and even Bell to an extent, because what happens here is basically, Lanolin does apologize. She humbly apologizes for her actions and explains why she acted the way she did and all that, and then comes to the realization that maybe she's not quite ready for this, and she needs to start small. Like she needs to go back to go back to what she does, better, or at least find an area where she can still contribute to restoration. And it felt like, when she did this, and then Tangle said what she did, like, well, so it was basically Tangle confirming that, oh, it's over a lot sooner than I thought. It was like, that's a quick, one and done kind of thing. Like, she was disappointed by it. And it's like, okay, you didn't even allow this storyline to, find its legs, or at least this story arc for these characters as a team, this team arc, if you will, to find its legs, to really gain that momentum. Now, I know Silver, was forgiving to Lanolin and, understood where she was coming from, and they all understood, the changes they were about to do. And, Silver saying that no matter what, what happens, they are Diamond Cutters together forever, they're a team no matter what. Again, it just, like I said, it just felt like this storyline, this Neo Diamond Cutter storyline, got cut off a lot sooner than it should have. And maybe that was meant to be this way. Maybe it's just meant to be this way for right now before, they decide to revamp it again or bring it back up again. But when I see this, and I know I'm not alone in this either. When I see this, and then I hear all these rumors, all these speculations about IDW's future, it makes me wonder if maybe Ian Flynn and his team are wrapping up a lot of the storylines, as we get closer to the 100th issue, or at least close to it. They're wrapping up all the major storylines and character arcs and team arcs and all that, so that, they will be, I guess you could say, in a good place, in a decent place, should IDW come down and say, yeah, we gotta end our partnership with Sega. You got to wonder if maybe that's what's going on here, because again, you would think, they would go in a different direction with the Neo Diamond Cutters. Like Lanolin, give her an opportunity to go on missions with them and prove that she wants to be redeemed, prove that she will learn. But yet you have her basically hang it up and basically say, this is not for me right now. This is not for me, and that she'd rather contribute elsewhere, like she did in her old home of, what was it, Emeryville? I think she called it Emeraldville. So you have to wonder if this was maybe something they had planned already, or this is just something that they planned for later on, but then decided to bring it in now because they, along with everybody else, doesn't know what the future of IDW is. Can't say. You can't really say, but it felt like it just came out of nowhere. It felt like it just came out of nowhere. Now, it looks like the Diamond Cutter team we're going to get, or at least the successor of the Neo Diamond Cutter team, is going to be Silver, Tangle, Whisper, and I think maybe even Blaze. If she's going to help out. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be Silver, Tangle, Whisper, and maybe Blaze hunting down Mimic. Just drinking some Starry there. But it sounds like that to me, and if that's the case, that also kind of makes you wonder if they're doing this to wrap up the whole Whisper Mimic situation a lot sooner before maybe something happens. Again, I'm not saying, I'm not saying any of this is going to occur, because the comic is a good seller for IDW, but it almost feels like certain story arcs are being wrapped up a lot sooner than they should. You know, a lot of character arcs and team arcs are being wrapped up a lot sooner than they should, and it just feels weird. It's like it just comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Just came out of nowhere and just, okay, Neo Diamond Cutters are done, and now we're gonna go back to the status quo or something. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. I mean, for all we know as well, the Sonic and Chaotix and all that tying in with Shadow and everything, we don't know if that's going to be a one and done and they're going to get the Emerald back and put it back in Sonic and Tails' house or something. I don't know. But to me, the reason I want to focus on this is because it feels like, they're wrapping up things that they could have spent more time on a lot sooner than they should. I mean, Belle going off and doing her own thing, going on her own adventures. It's like, what is going on there? Huh? It's like, what is going on there? It's like, is she going to be back with the team? We'll have to see. It looks like maybe she's going to be back, but we're not really sure. But her quest is to go out and help people and make up for the things that her father, Robotnik, when he was, Mr. Tinker, had done. So, or had, basically had committed, kind of make up for the crimes and stuff that he had committed by helping out. So, so again, it's like that came out of nowhere. It's like, is that going to lead to anything? Is she going to meet back up with them again? Is this all going to lead to the fact that, they just can't separate and go off and do things on their own just yet? They got to stick together as a team? It's like, what's going on? I mean, even when Archie Sonic was around and everything, they had similar situations like this, but they never had the characters go off, into their own adventures. I mean, yeah, they planned to do that to tie in with Sonic Universe and everything, which was obviously going to tie in with the 300th issue, had that still been a thing. But they never had it happen, after an anniversary issue. You never saw after issue 50 them going their separate ways. You never saw them after 75 go their separate ways. You never saw them after 25 go their separate ways. You never saw them after 100 go their separate ways. And even after 125 and that whole debacle there, you never saw them go their separate ways. And even after the dumpster fire that was 150, you never saw them go their separate ways. Same with 175. None of that happened. 200, it didn't happen. 225 didn't happen, despite the whole Genesis thing. That led into the Mecha Sally arc, which I still consider as probably one of the worst ideas for a story, in the history of Archie Sonic. None of them did that. None of them did. The point I'm getting at is never once after an anniversary issue did they go and do this. They always kept characters like this, little mini teams like this together till they had that resolution ready to go. And that resolution would come issues later. It would come issues later, months later, years later. But here it feels like it just comes out of nowhere and it feels like it's rushed. And it makes you wonder if this has to do with the rumors and the speculation that IDW may not be long for this world. I mean, now again, I'm saying, let me make this perfectly clear, okay? Let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not saying the comic's going to end, and I'm not saying that this was I'm not totally saying and confirming this just was something that they had planned for later and they had to do it now because of the uncertainty. I'm not saying that. For all we know, this was the plan the entire time. But the way it feels to me is it feels like it just came out of the blue. Like it was not meant to happen now. It was meant to happen later. But maybe that's just me, but I have a feeling I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm sure a lot of you listening and watching feel that same way too. You're like, okay, what is this about? This is surprising. I'm sure when Mega Beatman and Crystal Maiden 77 do their reviews, they're going to be like, wow, that was sudden. That was out of nowhere. That's going to throw them off. And, it's going to make it's going to make them, I should say, and others wonder, does this have to do, or does this have anything to do with the possibility that IDW may not be long for this world? And the licensing of doing Sonic comics may not be long either. We don't know. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this whole, situation from issue 76 of the Neo Diamond Cutters, kind of pretty much disbanding and going their separate ways, including Belle going off and doing her thing. Let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about this? Do you think this was the plan the entire time? Or do you think maybe this was, put in there at the last moment because of the uncertainty of IDW's future as a publisher and the future of doing a licensed Sonic comic? Let me know. Comment down below in the comment section, as well as in the live chat during the premiere if you'd like. Like the video. Super chats will be open in the live chat during the premiere. Also, guys, click on the links in the description to find my content elsewhere on the internet. Like, go to all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Spotify, Pandora, Audible, Overcast. Anywhere there's a podcast, you'll probably find mine there as well. Also, check me out at rumble.com at BWRoses, odyssey.com at BWRoses, also at patreon.com at BWRoses. Also, check me out at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, check me out at VENMO at BWRoses. Also, check out the Venmo and the Cash App to help support the channel there. Also, guys, check me out, check out my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. And also, check me out at Twitter/X at BWRoses and at Blue Sky at BWRoses. And at DeviantArt.com at BVW1979 and InkBuddy.net at BWRoses. But guys, give me your thoughts about this. How do you feel about it? And everything. And until next time, I will talk to you all later. Peace.